There are three fields that we operate from, or at any given point we're operating from. And those, the field that we're operating from is ultimately getting us what all exists for us around us, but how we're not able to tap in, or are we able to tap in? It comes from the field that we're operating in. The field of predictability. 2, the field of possibility. And 3, the field of potentiality. How I'm living and how I'm leading my life and what I'm operating from, it's almost like the consciousness when I talk about these fields, but these fields exist in the field, right? And so how I am in my consciousness, how I'm observing life is how I'm accessing at any point these fields. And whatever field I'm accessing, I'm operating from, I'm living in, is ultimately getting me what I want, and is also either enhancing my power to manifest really quickly because all energy is around me. The moment I tap into that frequency, the moment I tap into that field and I project enough energy in alignment, I completely become that thing. I experience that timeline. I experience AKA the manifestation. When I talk about field of predictability, this is where most human beings operate from, based on the fact that we've been provided the same education, more or less, the schooling system and the 3D matrix, or whatever you want to call it, the programming. So the moment we're born with infinite potential, we're fed in all this information, and we're given a predictable way of life that if you work, this will happen. If you eat, you will survive. If you do this, this will happen. If you sleep these many hours, these many hours, this is how you'll perform. If you work at this rate for these many hours, this is equals to this much money you will make. Do you see how predictability works? Everything's predictable. If you behave in this way and you get married at this age and you have children at this age, and then you can create, everything is predictable. That also means that I do have the safety in my system, that it's predictable, that if I do this much money I make, this is the kind of life I have, this is the kind of house I live in, these are the number of children I want, mostly predictable. My whole life is in a box. And if you look around now and you open your eyes, everybody in the matrix right now is living in the field of predictability. Most human beings, not everyone. It is horrifying when you see on reels people walking through train stations, people dressed up the same way, people trying to do stuff, people like, it is all predictable. And there's nothing wrong in being predictable. A lot of people want that kind of safety. A lot of people want that certainty, but they will never, ever, ever even come this close to tasting the magic of our human potential. Because if you're in the field of predictability, you will never be able to access information from the field and higher timelines or magic or blessings or synchronicities. Do you guys feel me on this, what I'm saying? Because I'm too predictable in my thinking. Now I have received all this information to live a predictable life. I've studied law, I will become a lawyer. I studied whatever, like I've studied to be a teacher, I will become a teacher. I've studied this, I will become this. And then I will do this for the next 80 years of my life till I actually grow old and then I die. Predictable. Field of predictability is great for human beings to provide them safety, but it is not great for us to experience the magic, the bigness of life that you all are hungry for, because I know there is absolutely a reason why you listen to me. Because I'm one of those people. But we don't know. When we're traumatized, when we're in denser frequencies, when we're in lower timelines, we don't understand, and we are caught in field of predictability like no man's business. So what is the next thing? The next field is the field of possibility. And that is what the human spirit is about. That, okay, what is possible for me? Okay, I understand predictability. I understand if I study this, I will become this. If I work these many hours at this rate, I will have this much at the end of the month. If I behave this way in my relationship, I will ultimately get this outcome. If I start walking this path and create this business, it will happen this way. Or if I do this, it'll happen this way. I understand the predictability, but what else is possible for me? Can I be the nurse with a predictable structure and still look into the possibility of what's possible? What else can I do? So, what am I doing now? One foot in predictability, one foot in possibility. That's a great life. I'm not at least boxing myself, yet I have the safety because a lot of us have had some sort of experiences where, with either money, relationships, emotional health, emotional well-being, physical dis-ease, where we like to be in the field of predictability because we can't cope with possibilities and potentiality. We want predictability. But can I be in the field of predictability, especially for those of you who handle a lot of trauma? I wouldn't say walk away and go into potentiality. I could never be there. I was in predictability and I had to learn to start walking towards field of possibility. What's possible for me? I don't care what my life has been. What's possible for me now? I don't want to remember what's my past. I want to care. I actually want to put all my energy into what's possible for me now. And when I start walking into the field of possibility with one foot in predictability, one foot in possibility, I start operating in a new energy. I start operating in a new consciousness. I start looking at things differently, and how I think, feel, and act changes, right? So this is a good place to be in. A lot of people stuck in predictability, they won't even be in these conversations. Do you guys get it now? And for some of us, predictability is good. We want predictable. We want certain predictable income, predictable lifestyle, predictable things, predictable relationships. And then we also want to know what's possible. What is that I can taste that has not been told to me? What is that I can create that has not been told to me? Because everything told is not the truth. There's more to me. There's more potential to me. It can't be, my life can't just be whatever is being known to mankind and what is known, because there is this infinite consciousness. Infinite potential. I can be, do, have anything. And that's when I start questioning the possibility of what could my relationship look. So I want to give you an example. You guys look at my relationship with my ex-husband, like we are the best co-parents, and we've become so flexible, so loving, unconditional love, the way we support. I've gone on to the timeline where we were actually genuine friends, and it's taken conscious work. But when I was in the field of predictability, a lot of pain, trauma. In fact, I never wanted to hate him, but there was a point where I actually felt like I hated him because of a lot of suffering and where we had hit, with the conflicts we had. So I was in the field of predictability. But when I chose to change my life, I chose to change my life in every area, not just business, not just healing, not just healing my anxiety, depression, raising my self-esteem, my self-worth, putting a purpose on my heart, which was not placed by me, it was placed by higher forces. But I then chose that I don't want to live in a field of predictability where I always project my past, that this is how it's been. And now that's why a lot of people can't heal their relationship with their exes after their divorce or separation, because they are predictability. This is how it's been. This is what I know. This is how you deal with exes. So it's predictable, and they go on 30, 40 years living with no communication, zero communication, or little communication, and these intense feelings with the children then bear the brunt of. I didn't want that. Now, I'm not saying anybody has to do it, but for me, it was like, what's possible? What's possible? And that's when you start questioning what's possible. Now, this is in the area of my relationship. You can do the same thing. I was like, I don't want to have a relationship with my ex-husband, which has been predefined by society and predictable. How can I wanted to set my own standards. So I started saying what's possible for me. I started healing. I started leading. He started responding. And what's possible, what I created, what's possible. A lot of people don't even come close to this with their exes. And I take a lot of pride in saying that, because it really helps me give you some validation, some evidence that you can use the possibility in anything. What's possible with your body? What's possible with, the dis-ease that you're having? And that's why, like, if you look at, I always have this on my desk, Becoming Supernatural. He talks about it all the time. The possibility of, like, when people heal, they believe in the possibility of healing themselves from chronic conditions. And so, what's possible? And the third thing then is I am walking in the field of potentiality. And that is such a great field to live in. And right now I'm living in that. But I wasn't always there because you need a level of nervous system regulation. You need to move from predictability, from trauma, a little bit of healing, not a little bit, a lot of healing. And then you start walking little baby steps, one foot in predictability, one foot in possibility. And then you start moving from possibility because I started with what's possible for me, what's possible for me, what's possible for me. So I always have one foot in possibility and what's potentiality. Potentiality means I allow myself to collapse every piece of information I ever know on the face of this earth that I've received from mankind, from programming, from matrix. And I really start connecting to the field and, connect to that flow state that I talk about and I teach you guys. When I'm in that flow state, I am actually the field has infinite possibilities and potentials. All potentials exist in the quantum field. And when I'm in that state, what I have to do is I have to allow, the more I learn to communicate with the field, the more I can access information, the more I'm led into whether it's my purpose, my relationship, my healing, my whatever. And the potentiality then starts presenting potentials that you never thought were possible. Now, if I'm operating from predictability, always the way I'm thinking, the way I'm feeling, the way I'm operating, I will not be able to access that field fully the way somebody operating in possibility and potentiality does. And then the field of predictability will never allow me to access the potentials that are in the field because I'm not even looking at it. I'm not even allowing it. I'm like predictable life. And if I'm in possibility, yes, I get possible ideas and then I start walking the path. But if I actually start having one foot in potentiality, that means I surrender, I collapse, you question, you start challenging, you become curious of, is this really true about me? When I believe something about me, is this really true? Is this really true about me? Can I collapse it? Can I dissolve it? And when I dissolve it and I actually start just being that I'm the field, I'm the infinite consciousness, and every day flow state, flow state, flow state, flow state, flow state, I start accessing information. The downloads are the infinite potentials that exist for me. Out of nowhere, I get a potential idea. I start putting energy into it. That's how we create our higher timelines. And then I would now bring you to the question, what field A have you been operating from? What have you been leading yourself with? And from what field are you living in? And it's okay. The past does not mean anything. It just means that current reality you're in is because of the field you've been operating in, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your prosperity, whether it's your health and healing. So I invite you to now look at what feels the safest. But safety and potentiality, kind of like, I'm saying that it's like a paradox, right? So if I want to be living in potential, this is why I'm saying you got to look at where your nervous system is, because every time I want to be in this zone, I am able to stay in. The more I'm in working on my energy, the more I learn how to be in flow state, the more I'm in gratitude, the more I'm feeling the fullness, the more I can sit with my cup of coffee and feel the whole feel the fullness, the wholeness, the magic, unaware of anything else in the world, unaware of what I want to create, unaware of who I've been, unaware of who I want to be, and just be the field. That's why I say small things, intentionality will take you further than anything else. Be intentional with every moment. The wholeness will unlock the bigness of life, the field. When I'm in it, I'm so lost in it. I'm feeling the magic of it that I suddenly start feeling so connected with the field potential. And then you guys know about every potential is an energy wave, right? So that's how we collapse it.